Okay.
And then I will give you the postcards to talk about, if you were going to do some Norwood pictures of how you would, what would you write on the postcard? And it's more like really a chat or a conversation.
Sounds good.
Not really a formal, like an interview. It's not structured that way. My phone. Okay, you ready? Okay. Thank you for coming, and coming early so that we can all finish all our interviews today for the movie. Mrs. Mahon, would you tell us about the first time you remember, a story about when you first came down to the beach here in Avon?
Okay, when I first came down to the beach in Avon, it was to my husband's family that they were renting down on Garfield Avenue, and I was going to get married that August, and we did go to the beach. And being a Jersey City girl, I got totally sunburned, which to this day is visible in my wedding pictures. Thing, but it's just someplace that you did fall in love with. And then when we had the opportunity to come here, we did it.
That's where you moved.
Many years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Finn, how did it happen for you?
I was dating Joe, and he picked me. I was renting in Belmont for the summer, and he came and got me and took me to the beach in Avon. And that was the beginning, I guess, of our romance.
Of your romance. And then you moved here too.
We did. We rented every summer because Joe worked here, and then we were having our 5th child, and we just couldn't find something big enough to rent, and we bought a house.
And you bought the house on
Norwood Avenue.
Good, that's great. Mrs. Mahon, would you tell us about your fondest memory of the Norwood Inn? I'm going to say that again. Would you tell us about your fondest memory about the Norwood Inn and going there on Sunday nights?
Okay. Probably the fondest, and then now it turns out to be sad, because every single Sunday I took Mrs. McBride there. And Mrs. McBride, well, she would have been 100 and something years old, right?
By now, right?
If she still lived. And no matter who owned it through all those times, we always had the seats up on that little balcony to listen to the thing. So besides wanting to listen to Joe, my other favorite thing was when Ann Bonner used to sing, and I loved to embarrass Gloria, because when she sang the Gambler, I used to get out on the floor and do that.
And you danced?
And do the dance, yes.
Very nice.
That was the best thing there.
That was always a fun night.
And of course, then a long time ago, when we were first here, it was the best place to bring your kids. And you didn't have to worry. You sat down and had your beer, and as a family, and you knew the kids were running around on the grass out there, but they were going to be safe, so.
It was fun.
And you could always walk home.
You can always walk home.
That
is true.
That was the best, yeah.
Mrs. Finn, you told a story when we interviewed you in July about when someone heard Joe Finn playing on the beach. His guitar.
Yeah, he had gotten a guitar, and they asked him to come back to the Strat, which of course isn't there anymore. And he used to go in. He was just thrilled to play, and he would sing. He would get beers.
As his payment?
That was his payment, yeah.
So then can you tell us another story about the Norwood and his time, and your time there and your family's time, or his time playing there?
I think it was the same as Eleanor said. It was a nice place. Like, everyone in town went there. You could bring your kids, all different ages, and the kids could play outside. They could, you could give them something to eat, and it was just a fun time for people who were happy and enjoyed each other.
So he played everywhere but the Buckingham, right?
Yes.
He played in the Avon Inn.
He did. He played in the Avon, and he and Dick Maloney had rented it one year.
And ran it, yeah.
And ran it one summer, yes.
And then he played in the Strat and he played in the Norwood.
Right. He started in the Strat, yeah.
And then went, okay, good. I'm glad they switched to pay him with cash.
I am too.
Not just drinks. This question was not in your practice, but I know you both raised your families here. Would you tell us a little bit about that, raising your families in town?
Raising the families in town here. Well, you know, the old story is it definitely was a place where you said, get out of the house. Just get out of the house. You felt safe telling your kids to do that. And when we moved here, we lived down by the river.
Oh, you did?
On
On your
Fourth
first
Avenue.
house?
Yeah. And that was it. And as I said, and if you had a baby and you were walking in the stroller, you were guaranteed to meet at least 5 other people that were doing the same thing, walking around here. So it was, you know, God's little acre, I think. I mean, a place that you had a church, a library, a school, a tennis court, the beach, the lake, and everything, and you could walk to it all.
So
Plus,
sorry.
somebody was talking today about the butcher that
Oh, I
we did have in
remember.
town. Yeah, and that was yeah, it was just a little bit of heaven, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mrs. Finn, would you
And-
tell us?
and I'm still
sorry.
here.
You're still here.
Still
Still get
here.
to live here. Would you tell us about raising your family?
I can
In
say what
town, too.
Eleanor said, and I know now my children are grown and they come back, they're still friendly, and they know, like my friends all knew my kids and they know everyone, and I know living next door to you, we were like a family.
We were like,
Oh my
people thought we were
God.
related.
Eh,
When I started dating John, they thought you were my aunt. Or
right.
you remember my mother's sister or something. I said, no, we're not related. Well, you're always together.
Yeah, we were always
We
together,
lived
all
across
the
the
girls.
street with all the girls.
And that's when you said about sending the kids, you know, and say, go outside and play. And I remember your sister Helen used to would say, Mrs. Finn, could I have a cookie? So special. I mean, Mom said, get out of the house. All right, Helen, here you are.
Here, you can have a cookie. All right, I'm going to hand you Norwood in postcards. They're enlarged, but if you were, I'm going to ask the question over there.
Okay.
If you were going to write a postcard from the Norwood Inn or even from town, what would you say about, and you can turn them around so we can see them. And then you're going to just tell us what you would write. Mrs. Mahon, you can go first. What would you write on your postcard to a friend or a family member?
Oh, if this was
If that was your
this
postcard.
was the postcard. Having a drink and thinking about you.
Good one. What would you write?
I would write, this is a lovely old hotel, and you would love it here. I know a lot of people used to complain about
The noise.
weren't too happy with the water pouring in their closets and stuff, but
Oh, right. It was an old building.
it was an old building, but beautiful, yeah.
It was, and how many different owners were there?
The Sickles owned it, remember?
Right, and then when,
And
and I know I told you this, I guess it was after the Sickles that my husband and his brother, Bob, they had visions of, they talked about maybe buying it, and then he told Eileen and I that we could be the chambermaids and everything. Thank God that deal didn't go down.
Right. So it was built, I think I'm not going to say that, it's in the late 1880s, like after I think the Buckingham was the last one built. So it was Stratford and Norwood about the same time. Avon and Columns were 1 year apart in the 1880s. So then
Oh, okay.
it was written, the man who originally was running that, now remember the Seaside Assembly was across the street, which we wouldn't remember, but there was just a camp, a Baptist camp, and they ran classes there all summer, and artists would come, and they'd have a Sunday school for the kids and a kindergarten for the older kids, and speakers all summer, and services for the Baptist church, and it was all outside mostly. They had, I think, 3 buildings, but it was that whole block across. So people who would go to that for the summer would stay there.
Oh.
So it wasn't connected in any way, but it was a place for them to stay because they were coming for this event, kind of like Ocean Grove.
Right.
And then that would be a place for them to stay until that actually went bankrupt and closed, and that's when they sold it and built houses.
Were you ever up in one of the rooms?
I
Did you
never
say that?
was,
No,
no,
I
I
was
just
never.
heard the stories.
Well, when we would run the harvest evening there for the school, when my kids were at Avon School, and Jerry would let us lock the prizes upstairs. So that's the only reason I ever saw the rooms. They were little, and the bathrooms were down the hall,
Right, yeah.
and hot and dusty. And that would be October when we were running the
Right,
the
right.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
But people rented them all summer.
Oh, yeah, they rented them for the
So
summer.
they would rent a room for the summer, and then they would
Right.
come down every weekend or.
Yeah, I talked with a guy that, and he said to me, "Oh, you live in Avon?" I said, Yeah, he said, oh, well, I'm staying at that place, they call it the Norwood. Some people call it the No Good. I said, what?
Yeah, we used to
And
call
so
it the
he-
no good because then we'd say nothing good ever happens there after midnight. Thank you.
Well, a lot of people met their husbands there.
It's
Or their
true.
wives, which, you know.
Yeah, whichever.
Well, the first time I talked to John was at the Norwood.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I had a conversation
Yeah.
with him, yeah. Mhm. Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you for coming
Oh, that's
early.
it?
Wait a minute.
Good.
Oh,
Are you
sorry.
gonna do that dance?
Oh,
You want to do the dance?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? I'm not into the hearing aids yet, so that's why I have to keep asking you.
I don't have the music.
Know how to roll 'em, know how to fold 'em,
Jeez,
and run. Remember I used to do that?
Yeah, you would run.
Oh my God.
Well, I remember you and Gloria up there on the,
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
table by the side there.
Just great. And I think it's, as Kathy said, that when our kids come back and they still have the friends here. And then, this Saturday,
Yes.
they're having a memorial for one of the best families too,
Yeah.
poor Mary that died, and there'll be about 200 people.
I'm sure. I think they said the repast is at the gym
Uh,
It is, yeah.
because they needed
Yeah.
a big room.
Yeah. Matthew's doing the cooking.
Oh, in the firehouse probably?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mrs. Mahon was my math teacher.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in high school. And Mrs. Finn babysat my children and pretty much raised me with my mother together. Because we were in and out of each other's houses all day long, all the time, right across the street.
Well, they had 4 girls and we had 5, so
Yeah, so-
all the same ages.
Jeez.
Yep, and we
It's
were
a
all the
whole
same
Girl
ages.
Scout
And then
troop.
poor Joe.
Yeah, and I had my
Poor
son.
Joe. Matt and Jimmy weren't born yet. So poor Joe and Jeffrey.
You were talking about, Kathy was mentioning food before. It reminded me of course, not only was I your teacher, but I taught with your mother.
Yes, with my
Right
mom.
there.
Yeah, St. Rose.
And your mother would come in with that pumpkin
Oh,
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
Oh, God. It was probably the only time I ever ate actual pumpkin in my life.
And then we missed that. We always brought the angel food
Angel
cake
food
with
cake
the
for-
7-minute
for
frosting
Jesus'
for
birthday,
Christmas.
yeah.
For Jesus' birthday, yep.
Geez, sounds like a lot of people
God.
came here and fell in love for a tiny little
Yeah.
couple.
He wants to move here now,
He
right?
does.
Oh, believe me, my wife
Lance
is
would
second.
love to.
You have to be real rich to move
What
here.
about
Well,
these days?
we- yeah, we-
It is, right? Oh,
What?
we're here over 50 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm here 51 years.
Yeah.
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 I came, Matthew was 2, so that was in, he was born in 68, so 1970. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we
We-
came in 70.
And we came the year before you.
The year before
Yeah.
us, yeah.
So that was
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, with
72.
all the,
Only the rich and famous can live there now.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I remember when we moved in, and I think either you came over, or one of the maybe Maura came over, and they said, we hear there's children coming here. There's girls
we
moving
heard,
in.
yes.
Because there were no other neighbors but Jeffrey at that time.
And there-
And a lot of the houses were summer.
Right.
Yes,
Nobody was
yeah.
down,
No one was down all year round yet. They were all empty.
Well, now, I lived on 4th Avenue there, and I remember that first year, when it was going to be Halloween, there were no other kids on the block,
No.
so,
Over on that side,
and I
yeah.
wanted Matthew to have a taste of what Halloween was and everything, so I called up everybody and I said, would you please tell any kids that come to your house to come down 4th Avenue, that there's a house there
There's a
that has
house.
candy. And they did.
Right, they did.
So.
Good, that's great. All right, ladies, you did an
Okay.
awesome
All
job.
right, well,
All
thank
right,
you.
great. You did a good job.
Oh, thank
Nora.
you. And you
Yeah.
have your,
Much better than we thought.
oh, yeah, not, I didn't
We
want to
were
make
dreading it.
I did not want to make it nerve-wracking at all. Just a few questions and some memories, yes.
Good.
Good.
You were
Right.
dreading it. Come on.